All right, how's it going today? Good afternoon. Um, Gonna feed a couple of my bins and then take a look at where we are with these bins as far as healthy and too much moisture or anything like that. Any bug problems? I cheated a little bit. I already looked into this bin. Didn't disturb it much. I wanted you to see what it looked like. But I don't know if you can see, I've been digging around there a little bit. Uh, there were a lot of cocoons on top. I pulled out 21 cocoons. Um, I actually don't really want to disturb it too much now that I pulled out that many, just to see if I can pull any more out. Um, that's the cocoons I did pull out. I just pulled one more out. Here's another one. Kind of hard to pick them up with the gloves. Might have to take off the gloves. And I figure I usually don't pull them out. I just let them stay. But seeing we have a worm bin that I had some trouble with, I don't know if you remember the bin I did last week, the last video showing the mite problem in that bin. So I can use these cocoons in that particular bin. But I'm not going to pick any more out. I'm going to get to what we are. I'm going to add a little more light. I'm not sure if you can see into the bin. Turn on the light and I find another cocoon sitting right on top. Alright, so this bin was done on 528. It's a very good populated bin. Once again, there's another cocoon. But it's a very good bin. Highly populated. It's kind of hard not to pick up the cocoons, but I'm going to leave them for now and just stick with what I'm doing right now. So, I mean, I'm looking at the one right here in my hand. That's nice when you can pluck out cocoons. So just let you, oh, there's another one. I mean, you can see all the worms. Nice, happy worms. So they're populating this bin well. So I'm very happy there. But just going to mix up the bin. There's not a bug problem in this bin, so that's a good thing. Still have over a month to go. Oh man, cocoons, cocoons, cocoons. Still have a couple of months to go on this bin. Like I said, it was done on 528, so it's only a little over a month old. And this bin too, once again, there's no paper, no newspaper in this particular bin. But a lot of nice fat worms. So the moisture level's good. one eye's looking at the worms and the other one's looking out for cocoons. You know, like I said, I had a bin that had a problem, so it didn't have a lot of worms left in it. A lot of worms were either killed off by the mites and or climbed out because of the mite problem. So I still see some cocoons in there. I'm just gonna leave it alone. I got probably about 25 cocoons, which if those cocoons hatch successively, I had to pull that one. 26. 27 cocoons. Should give me over 50 worms. Yeah, there's another one. So that's what you want to do. You just want to mix up your bin. You can do it every week, every couple of weeks. Just mix up your bin. That way you can see how your worms are doing. If there's any issues in it, as far as mites or pot worms or anything like that. I tend not to overfeed my bins. I tend to allow my bins, I feed them, I let them eat all the food, and then the next time I feed them, I don't give them food. I don't give them green matter or anything like that. I usually just give them, I'm looking for something. I usually give them dry food, either manure or either give them manure. That's a nice helping. Not going to give them more than that. I don't like to overfeed my bins. I'm going to give them a little bit more. But I think that's enough. So, I try not to overfeed them, so I give them this. Then the next time I feed them and go through the bin, I give them something dry. Either the alpaca manure, or I give them worm food, so which is known as worm chow. But that's what I wind up doing. So, but this amount of food is good enough for me. The amount of worms that's in there. I do have a watermelon that I'm gonna slice up, throw it in the freezer, and feed them another time, or the other bins that I'm not showing today that I'm feeding. But that's pretty much what I do. Is I just want to go through and check and make sure there's no problems. The moisture is good. So as we get down to the last month or so, I'll take off the filter fabric and kind of let the moisture kind of come out of the castings. I am going to add, like I showed before, I have a glue trap, which is a fly trap. I cut them in 3 pieces. I don't use the whole thing. And what I do is, I have a little tie wire here that came with them, and I just tie it on there just to kind of deal with any fruit flies that are going to come from the food. Alright, so once again, that bin was started on 5/27. It's going to end on 8/27. And those dates, the ending date could always change based on what's left in the bin. I have a identical bin. 5/27 to 8/27. That's 3 months. I'm gonna kind of look at this one. A couple of worms on that side. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's some fruit flies in this one. As far as seeing any cocoons sitting on top, like the last bin, I don't see that on this particular bin. But we're just gonna flip the bin over. Oh yeah, nice beautiful worms. And that's all I do. I just go through my bins every now and then, just make sure the moisture is good. I mean, you can see the worms. If I stop moving it around, I mean, there's a lot of worms in there. And that's what you want. You want to just kind of take what's from the top, move it around. There's still some newspaper in here. Good smelling bin. No foul smell, no smell of any dead worms or anything like that. As we can see, we have a lot of live worms here. So that's pretty much it. Just want to kind of move them around. Kind of just level it back out. It's going to on its own. It's going to settle some. So, but that's it. So I'm going to feed this one also. This one has it's going to have quite a bit, because I'm going to use the last of it that I didn't feed in the last bin, and that's it. With the amount of worms in there, they'll probably devour that within a week. But that's pretty much it. You just want to really kind of look at your bins and see everything that's going on in your bins, especially if you're, selling your castings, or even if you're just using your castings in your garden. You just want to make sure that everybody's doing okay in here. So I do see a couple of what I would say are mites. But nothing to alarm. You are going to have some mites from time to time. As long as you don't have a festation of mites in there. They have a cycle of about 21 days. So you really just want to pay attention to your bins. And you might see them just kind of, after the 21 days, just kind of go away, as long as you're not having any additional problems. So that's it. That bin's is in good shape. Happy with that bin. And that's all you want to look at. That's all you want to check. Is check your bins, make sure they're doing well, and that's it. All right, so that's the two bins I wanted to kind of go through and kind of feed and show you the healthiness of the bins and just check in on your bins. All right, so I'm going to put this bin away. Once again, this is New Era Gardener. I appreciate you watching the video. If anybody has any comments, I appreciate your comments. Good luck with your worms. Just keep an eye on them. check them out every now and then.